Hola, YouTube. Um, Over a month and a half ago, I posted a video where I basically pointed out that we are headed for disaster if we shut the economy down. This is something that's never been tried. So you're literally playing God right now. And I've just been listening to CNN on the radio, Sirius radio, and what I'm hearing is disgusting. They're basically ginning up hysteria and trying, I guess, to make the various states in the union that are I know I sound like a Confederate soldier, but basically making the various states who are trying to open up, trying to force them by making them feel guilty to rethink their position. It's just amazing to me. We're headed for. I don't think anyone has ever just sat down and looked at what it's going to take to get us back to anywhere close to where we were 4 or 5 months ago. For instance, you're going to lose tens of thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands of small businesses. I don't just say that because, I'm game theory thinking that this business will go under because it's going to lose X amount of revenue based on the psychology that we've generated because of the hysteria. I'm saying that because I know people who are on the brink of losing their business, and they know people who are in their area who have already closed up shop. Now, when you shut down a business, a small business, it doesn't just restart by turning a key or borrowing $10,000. It takes an incredible amount of energy, time, and effort to start a business. So when you stop a business, when you throw it out of business, when you kill it, it's not like you just flip on a switch and all these businesses restart. So a month and a half ago, I made the point that we are basically quarantining the entire country that is not sick instead of quarantining the population that is threatened by COVID and letting the country continue to work and spread the virus, acquire a herd immunity. It's the only way to stop it. Every time you hear the news talk about a vaccine in 6 months or a year, do you know that we have never, ever in our history in this situation where we've had a novel virus, a coronavirus, a SARS virus, N1H1 virus, we've never, ever made a vaccine for those, ever. Not one time have we successfully created a vaccine to stop a pandemic. And it's not going to happen this time. You're not going to see a vaccine. And there may or may not be treatments. There probably are. Hydroxychloroquine with zinc and zithromycin, Z-Pak, is probably a treatment. It probably is. It has to be administered early, and it can actually be used prophylactically. There are hundreds of thousands of medical professionals that are taking it now before they get sick because there's good evidence that it will keep you from getting sick because the people who take it now, the people with the various conditions that need it, aren't getting sick. So people who take it regularly are not getting sick from COVID-19. So that's pretty close to all the evidence you need that it is a prophylactic for this disease. I digress. The bottom line is, I hate to make these predictions. I was right with the last prediction, and I know this prediction is going to be right. In 6 months, this is like a tidal wave coming in. We don't see it. It's like when you see these videos of people who, when the water goes out from the beach, because actually what happens is when a tidal wave comes in, the first thing that happens is the water goes out from the beach. So you'll see people wade out into the go way far away from where the original shore was, because they see the water go out, and they'll walk 100, 200, 300 yards out before the tidal wave hits. And that's what's getting ready to happen. We don't see it yet. You don't feel it, but it's coming. In 6 months or a year, it will be devastating. If it was as easy as borrowing money and throwing it at a problem, we would never have had a recession. There would never have been a recession since the Federal Reserve was created, since we invented elastic money, and we pretend like we can just print money and throw it at a problem. Since we did that, we've never been able to stop a recession. If it was as easy as printing money and manipulating the economy to keep factories running and businesses running and people off food stamps and all the different things that are associated with what we would call a good economy, we would never have had a mild recession. And yet we're pretending like just printing money and throwing it at people is going to fix this. It's not going to fix it. A lot of these small businesses are never going to come back. It's not just a business, it's a dream that these people have. They have poured their heart and soul into these businesses, and tens of thousands of these businesses are going to go under, maybe hundreds of thousands. And who are the winners here? Amazon, Walmart, Home Depot, Lowe's, Netflix. All the big players are winning. And it's going to be devastating psychologically to anyone who thinks that they can somehow get a perch in this society and create a business and live a better life. I could just list all the problems that we're facing. You've got hundreds of thousands of people who aren't going to go back to work because they're making 3 times more money today on unemployment than they were making working. So a lot of these small businesses are going to be ready to open. They've got the money to pay their employees. And I don't just say this because I think it might be true. I say it because I know it is true. That these business owners are going to call their employees, ask them to come back to work. And the employees are going to say, yeah, I'm kind of scared still. I think I'm going to have to stay out for another couple weeks. Every week that goes by knocks the chances of this business surviving down 25%. And our government created this. This virus, if it had happened in the 50s, would have had 0 effect on the economy. Well, negligible effect. Not 0, but negligible. Because in the 50s, you didn't have a government that had the ability to just create money. The government would have said, hey, it's going to be bad. People are going to get sick. If you're worried, you need to stay inside. They never would have occurred to the masters of the universe to say to people, oh, just go home. We're going to pay you $3,000 to sit on your butts. How about $4,000? How about $5,000? How about $6,000? All while this is happening, businesses are dying. Certain industries are crumbling. Small governments, local governments, state governments are piling up debt. They're going to have to cut back on their employees. It's already happening. It's in the news today. the various cities and states that are, sending out letters of, furloughs and layoffs. And my sister's a teacher in Louisiana, and she's anticipating zero, if she keeps her job, a zero increase in pay next year. That's across the board. Tidal wave. I hate to make these predictions, but we're closer today to a zombie apocalypse in this country than we've ever been. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm not saying it's even 50-50, but we are now at a non-zero chance of a zombie apocalypse, where I'm talking about a Great Depression. And the problem with the Great Depression today is that we don't have strong people today. We don't have people who can exist through a Great Depression. The people of the late 20s and 30s, they were tough. Mentally tough, physically tough. They were we were an agrarian society. They knew how to exist without all the amenities that life affords. And if we think that we're just going to just keep the farmers farming and the truck drivers driving and keep the shelves stocked, and that's going to fix the problem as long as we keep people fed, okay, then how come people are already getting kicked out of their apartments? How come they're already in food lines? How come they're already struggling to get the money together to pay their bills? I hate to make this prediction, but in 6 months to a year, we're going to look back and we're going to think, who the hell did we think we were, that we could just pretend like with a few turns of a knob that we could keep a sophisticated and okay, very simply, we're screwed.